saw a comment on my YouTube page. Incidentally, my YouTube page is Breaking Bad Goddess. Anyway, she wrote under one of my videos that she works as a social worker, and she notices that she hid from everyone that she works with that she no longer votes Democrat. And I believe she's black. And she was saying that in the field she's in, she feels that there hasn't been much of an impact on the clientele she serves because everything is structured in a way that they really don't want to give you permanent help. It's always the kind of thing where the services she gives keeps people dependent on the government. And I've suspected that for years. I've always felt that the government, in terms of social services like welfare, public assistance, Section 8, they just give enough to keep you surviving. You're always in a survival mode of existence as opposed to thriving and eventually moving on or moving off until you can get on your own 2 feet and live an independent life. I feel that the government fosters this this existence in which people, particularly people in urban areas, to just be surviving, just barely making it. They're just alive enough to get the minimum as opposed to setting them up for success, setting them up for good jobs, independent living, having control of your own destiny, basically. They really don't want that. And I see that with the Democratic Party a lot. They really don't want people to be free in the sense that they have their own autonomy in terms of how they're living, where they live, where they send their children to schools. It's always, the government is your daddy, and your mother and your teacher and everything else. But you're not really free. You're not really living your own purposeful destiny. You're just living under the thumb of what other people will allow you to have. And this is why they're always the party of more government assistance, more government handouts, more government. And at the end of the day, they've created a population of people who, from one generation to the next, is always living off of the government and not really honing in on their own destiny and having that independence. And you see it in the districts that are heavily Democratic. I mean, remember a few years ago when AOC had the opportunity to have Amazon come into the Bronx, and that would have employed a lot of people, that would have really helped the local economy, it would have given good jobs to people, and she squashed that whole thing. And you got to wonder, why would somebody do that? Why would a representative not want their constituents to have the opportunity to have jobs, to be independent, to have some autonomy in their lives? And I figure that because that's not the point. They want you subservient to them. They want to always dangle that carrot in front of you so you're always beholden to them, and that your whole existence is dependent on them being in office so they can, sprinkle a few crumbs to you, throughout, your existence. And not only your existence, but the existence of your children and then their children and so forth. And I just feel like it's one of the reasons why I implore people, anyone, whether you're black, white, to get out of that it's really a slave mentality in a way. You're enslaving yourself into a party that's slowly evolving now into a cult. It's starting to feel like a cult. I mean, once they don't get their way, they want you to abandon your friends, abandon your family, turn on your neighbor. You're destroying property. You're creating havoc in the community. This isn't the Democratic Party that I once was a member of. This is something entirely different. And I'm wondering, how long can this continue? How long are you going to be a viable choice for common sense people? Most people want the border closed. Most people want the government out of their finances. They want the government out of their children. Nobody wants to co-parent with the government. They want to be able to determine where their kids get educated and how they get educated. They want autonomy. The government really supposedly was established just to keep the borders safe, to keep us, from being attacked. And there's certain things that the government should be involved in, but it's gotten to the point now where there's this intrusiveness. The nickel and dime you, how much money you're bringing into your own household. And then, of course, they mismanage the money, and then it goes to all kinds of ridiculous causes under the name of, DEI, or back in the day it was affirmative action. Now it's all about transgender issues. They'll use some scapegoat or somebody they can wrap their agenda around, and as a means, it's a front for the real laundering of money into their own organizations, into their own pockets. And so I just thought that, her comment was interesting, working in an environment where she's not even allowed to tell people how she votes or what party she's been supporting secretively. And that tells me right there that it's a cult-like atmosphere. It's a toxic part. It's become very toxic. And if it's morphing into, I don't know how they're going to be able to survive in the next few years if they keep on this trajectory. I don't understand what's the end game. I mean, now you got AOC and Bernie Sanders being the face of the Democratic Party. They're doing all their little fake rallies with their fake audiences, and to what end? At the end of the day, you're still going to need votes from real people. You're going to need real people to support you, not, astroturf support that from paid people to come there and act like they're behind you. I mean, we saw that during the election with Kamala Harris. She was getting a lot of paid support from people who really didn't support her unless they were paid to support her or speak or stand next to her. So everything is just fake. It's a fake party. It's a fake. I don't even know if they have a platform. What, the oligarchy? I mean, they've benefited from the oligarchy, the one party that has gotten more money from billionaires and millionaires than any other party. I mean, they both do, to be honest, but to sit there and act like they don't get money from millionaires and billionaires, I mean, it's just so, it really, people really need to wake up. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Very smart people, they can't see through this. But circling back to the woman, the social worker who felt like she had to hide the fact that she no longer is a Democrat, I feel like, yeah, this is the toxic environment that the Democrats have created for themselves. And they're hemorrhaging a lot of support because of it. And the more they're out here being destructive and targeting people, particularly Republicans, the more they're gonna alienate their voting base, the ones that are just hanging on by a thread. They're not gonna be around for long. They're gonna take off as well, and they are for the most part. So I'd be interested in your thoughts on this, because I've been thinking about it a lot, and I was thinking about that comment she left on my YouTube channel, and yeah, it's getting very interesting out there.